Hey, we're back again. It is time for month 2 of our Elizabeth Hartman North Stars block of the month. So, Camilla really wanted to say hi to everybody. So, she's sitting in my lap right now. And this side is Willa, and Willa the Walrus is what we're going to make this month. That now Willa doesn't have the same kind of challenges as the polar bear did last month, but there are a couple of things that we want to pay attention to. One of them is where we don't really need to use as many half squares on a roll this time. So instead, I'm going to introduce a new tool for marking half square triangles. And then we're also going to do Willa's feet because, let's say she is a lady and she needs to have some nice pretty feet. So we need to pay attention to that. At any rate, so let's get started. I put a PowerPoint together for you, and this can be a supplement to the pattern that you already purchased. And we'll put this up on BERNINA of Naperville.com, classes and events, under the handouts section. So look for that. And otherwise, enjoy, and let's make Willa the Walrus. Willa, she is the walrus. Someone's the Eggman. Cuckoo, cuckoo. Oh, Camilla, she just jumped out of my lap. I don't think she likes my singing very much. All right, let's talk about fabric to make Willa. So this month's block is made up of 10 fabrics. That includes the background and the light and dark. That's Willa's eyes, her nose, and her tusks. You're also going to need, as usual, a rotary cutter and mat, and all the rulers. So a small ruler, 6.5-inch square, medium, 12.5-inch square, and if you have one, a large 21-inch square. One thing that I found was nice as well was the 4 by 12-inch square. I didn't put that on here, but that was really handy cutting some of these smaller things. The tool that I introduced this time is not going to break the bank. This is a very affordable little thing. It's called a Quickk Quarter, and it's made by Quilters rule. So we have a video that I want you to watch on that. You'll need thread to sew it together, and we did use my Bernina 880 Plus with the 97 1/4-inch foot with it. And as always, you're going to bust out those heat vanishing pens because we're going to use those to mark the diagonal lines on our half square triangles and our flying geese units. So let's look at the fabric for Willa. We've got it labeled over there on the right. You're going to need the background fabric, which is the solid gray, and that's going to be 19 inches width of fabric. The dark detail is 1 inches by 4 inches. Now, I do want you to know that is exactly the right amount that you're going to need for Willa's nose and eyes. If you miscut, don't forget you got ample last month to make the polar bear. Secondly, we have our white detail. You do have enough of that in case you slip or something like that. And the white detail is to make the tusks. And fabric number 1 is Willa's lips. That's 4 inches by 5 inches. And that's a very light gray. And that, I call it her lips, but I think some other people might call it the muzzle. And then fabrics 2 through 7 are fat 8ths. Now let's have a reminder that fat 8ths are 9 inches by 21 inches. Now here's the little tool that I promised I would show you. This is the Quilters Quarter Marker by Quilters rule, and we're going to use this to mark the 3-inch light squares for the half square triangles and the 2.5-inch squares for the flying geese units. So let's go to the videotape. This month, we don't really need to use the triangles on a roll to make our triangles because there's not that many half square triangles, but you might enjoy this Quickk Quarter ruler from Quilters rule because the sole purpose of this particular tool is to mark half square triangles and half squares for flying geese units. And that's exactly what I'm going to use this for. So this tool has a flat side and then it has a beveled side. You want to make sure that you keep the beveled side up. So I'm going to take my light color blocks here that go with this flying geese unit, and I'm also using my heat vanishing pen. We used those last month as well. So I'm lining this up, holding down my Quilters Quarter Marker, and I'm marking my pieces. And I'm going to do that on both sides, and then we're going to sew them together. After you've made your half square units and your flying geese units, you need to label, label, label. It is the most important thing to keep all of the different backgrounds that are being used with the right geese units and also keep the right pairs together for your half square triangles. So label, label, label. And if you weren't finished labeling yet, when you get to making up your units that are made from your half square triangles and your flying geese units and your other squares, you want to very carefully lay them out before you start sewing them together. So if you see over here on the right, you can see that I have my 2 units. First of all, make sure you get the correct ones on the correct side. And if you do nothing else, label the top of them this side up. Then for the ones that are going to go on the bottom or below Willa, you want to label those this side down at the bottom. I actually sewed my block together twice wrong. So I should have put a seam ripper on your supply list, but I figure you already knew about that one. Now, last month, as we made the half square triangles and the flying geese units, it was just about building the blocks according to the instructions in the pattern. Well, you're going to do the same thing this month. So we're going to go through pages 9 through 12, building the walrus. But there is something new that we didn't really cover last month with the polar bear, and that is the technique that's used to make Willa's feet. Now, a lady needs to have nice feet. So we want to kind of pay attention to that one this month. So you'll see the diagram for sewing these in figures 9, 10, and 11. But let's watch the videotape so I can show you how to pay attention to the angles that you're going to be using so that you can line up the feet properly. Take it away, Gayle. Go. This little area here, the walrus feet, I thought it was important to show you how to make these. There is a little call out on page 12. It's figure 9, 10, and 11 because we're dealing with sewing these together at different angles so that his feet will be splayed out like that. Or her. This is Willa the Walrus. All right, so here are the pieces that we need for this. We need 2 O pieces, an X piece, a W, and a U. And look here, I already marked my U piece with the Quilter's quarter marker. So I'm taking an O piece and I'm gonna line up the U just like this, and I'm gonna stitch from corner to corner following my blue lines. Now that I've stitched this piece on the machine, and you can see I even used my little micro applique scissors to trim my section there, just like that, it's time for us to add the W piece here. So we're gonna lay this down just like this, so it kind of forms what looks like a picture frame there, and we need to make sure that we sew this exactly the right way. And the best way that I can ensure that I'm gonna do that is to bring back my Quilter's 1/4 inch ruler and line up along my little dot to dot here. This really isn't so much about the sewing line, it's more about putting the angle at the right section for me to do my walrus foot, because you know, we don't want Willa to have clubbed feet. All right, so now I'm gonna take this back to the sewing machine. Go. Now, this is a situation where I am gonna cut through both layers. We just want this to lay flat. I'm gonna use my dainty little duckbill scissors to do that. And we're gonna fold this over and see how that makes a very nice straight line. Now it's time to put Willa's other foot on. And we're going to use our second O piece, and we are going to line it up like so. And remember, I like to use my Quilter's quarter marker to make sure that I'm going in the right direction for Willa. Because, you know, a single lady like Willa, she wants to have nice looking feet so she can meet a nice Willie the Walrus. Let's just trim some of our little threads. This, you know, you're gonna trim a lot of threads on this project if you haven't already. Okay, so Now I'm going to trim both layers again, like I did last time. And Willa almost has 2 feet. So now we're going to take this back. See, we still have our nice straight line here. Finger press, and now I'm going to use piece X, and piece X is going to go on just like this. I'm going to use the Quilter's quarter marker again to just draw my angle. So once again, Willa is pretty. And you know, you want her to sort of sit like a lady as well. You know, just because she has to sit on the rocks doesn't mean she can't do it like a lady. I'm finished sewing Willa's feet. I'm going to make my last trim on these corners. And look at that. Nice and straight. And she's a lady. She's a lady. Oh, 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 she's a lady. You're welcome, world. So we're done. Finish building Willa, and then once you're done, it's going to be May, and hopefully there won't be any snow on the ground. Yeah, I'm wearing a furry vest today because holy moly, it is snowing on April 17th. Can you believe it? So next month for Owen the Owl, we're going to be focusing on wingtips. This is the most challenging part of this block, but there are a lot of pieces. So you're probably going to spend a little bit more time on Owen than you did on Willa. But in the meantime, we're having a sale here at Bernina of Naperville, a sale on Bernina's and Burnett sewing machines. However, we have a special sale for those of you that are doing our block of the month with us, and we have a special code. The code is all capitals EH20BOM. What do you get with this code? Well, if you go to BERNINAofNaperville.com and shop the online store and use that code in the discount section at checkout, you will receive 20% off all in-stock Elizabeth Hartman patterns. And there are a lot to choose from. They are super, super cute. And you already are armed with all of the knowledge you need in order to make your own Elizabeth Hartman pattern by yourself, I am sure. But that does it for me for now. So my furry vest and I are going to sign off. But before I do, I want to remind you that you should visit the Bernina of Naperville YouTube channel at youtube.com/Bernina of Naperville and like, comment, and subscribe. Also, if you want to see and be alerted when more videos like this are posting, just click the little bell, and when we add a new video, you will know. So thank you so much, and see you in May.